forward. It's not letting me do this. Give me 1 second. Why is not letting me do this? There you go. Zoom is preparing to be live on Facebook, so we are going to start in a second. I believe we are live on Facebook, so technical stuff is working out. It was tested yesterday, now it's live and it's working. We're recording to the cloud, and I think we are ready to roll. Can you guys hear me well? Awesome, fantastic. And now we're gonna do the last test, which is the drums. So we're gonna do the drums and we're gonna try it. So give me 1 second. We're going to share the screen, desktop, share. And let's do the drums. There you go. So as Giovanni says every morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And I'm gonna do the twist for Andrea. Buenos dias, everybody. I'm glad to be here at the Daily Huddle with you guys. I am your host today. Giovanni and Sorel are doing important businesses and they send their regards. They are not able to join us today, but we're gonna do it, and this is going to be a very, very exciting day. Remember what day is today? Because can anyone answer? Today. And what time is it?
Now.
That's exactly it. So we know it, and that's the important thing. We need to be present, we need to be here. And as Giovanni and Sorel said every day, the way that you start your day is going to tell you the rest of your day, and the way that you leave your day is going to tell you and show you the rest of your life. So let's try to have an amazing day today. And what better way to do it than with Melissa Donelson. Did I pronounce your last name correctly, Melissa?
You did. You
awesome.
did.
Fantastic. So the question of the day is, how do you lead through change and uncertainty? But before we start answering that question, let me tell you a little bit about Melissa. Melissa, for over 20 years of leadership experience in corporate learning and development, as well as personal health and wellness, Melissa has a degree in psychology and uses her understanding of human behavior to develop high-performing teams, build effective learner-based training curriculums, as well as consults with business leaders on ways to achieve desired results. Melissa also utilizes the same skills to help those individuals optimize their lives by helping them achieve overall health and wellness goals. Early in her career, Melissa worked as a personal trainer, group fitness instructor, and wellness manager for a chain of health clubs. During this time, she also worked to develop a better understanding of adult education and learning so that she could transition into a career that allowed her to build adult-based learning programs for sales and service organizations. After successfully working in training and development for over 18 years, Melissa wanted a way to combine both her passions, learning, and wellness. Today, Melissa continues to work in learning and development, but now also works as a health coach focused on helping people find optimal health and well-being. So this is Melissa. We're excited to have you here, and this is your room now.
Thanks, Andrea. It's so nice to be here. I'm super excited. This gives me a little bit of something different and fun to do outside of the day job, so I'm excited to spend the morning with you guys. And I wanted to start the day with an Arabian, and that proverb says that he who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. And I don't know about you guys, but in 2020, I think hope is one of the most important things that we can have. And so hopefully by spending some time with you this morning, we'll get to talk about some things that will help you navigate all of the change and uncertainty that comes with life in general. And then you add in 2020 on top of it. And hopefully it'll give you some things to navigate this very uncertain time in a positive way, and maybe even end the year having some of that going to really knock it out of the park for you now and in the future. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. So when I think about some of the things that I've learned navigating the last 20 years of my life in wellness, in corporate America, in all of the things, one of the things that I know for sure is that change is constant. There is change every minute of every day, and we have to arm ourselves to be able to navigate that the best we can. One of the things that I found to be super important is that you have to own your attitude. And what I mean by that is, as a leader, people are going to look to you. They are going to follow your lead. And you have a choice every single day of what that attitude is going to be. If you go into the day thinking it's going to be a crummy day, it's probably going to be a crummy day. So choose that attitude, lead by example, you are in control. The next thing is you want to create an environment of trust. And I mean that in a lot of different ways. You have to trust yourself. You know deep down what the right things are to do and how to navigate those waters. So don't take against yourself, right? And also create an environment of trust for others. Know that others are going through these uncertain times as well. So you want to make sure that you're being open and real, and it's okay to be a little vulnerable, but don't let that, that trust factor fall, because if you lose trust, you lose everything. The next thing is you want to identify any fear that might be present, and you want to control that fear. Don't let it control you. It's okay to be a little unsure during change, but one thing that you want to do is you get that as an opportunity to grow, to stretch, to do things maybe you never possible. So really controlling of the fear is going to help you really emotionally back some of those things that can creep up and kind of get in the pit of your stomach and cause concern. And you just want to make sure you take it one little bite at a time. The next thing is make sure that you are communicating. Right now, it's really important, whether it's personally, professionally, you've got to communicate consistently and authentically. You want to talk to the people that are close to you every day. Make sure that they're okay. Talk to the people that you work with. Make sure that everyone is coming together to be a team player and taking a little bit of that change a bite at a time and helping you carry that load. But communication is going to be key. I find that when change starts to happen, people start to retreat and people start to kind of go their own direction. And I think when there's a lot of change and uncertainty, that is a time more so than ever that you have to band together and you have to walk as one. The next thing that I think is super important is you have to celebrate the successes. And sometimes we're not always willing to see some of those things that are there. There might be big successes, there might be small successes. Some days it's just, I made it through today. And that is what we are going to celebrate, because every day is a new challenge, every day is a new opportunity. So you want to make sure that you are taking that time to take a breath and celebrate and enjoy each opportunity that you're given, even if there is some uncertainty and fear that comes along with it. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about, which is going to transition us more into our optimal health conversation, is you want to try to control the controllables. And the things that are outside of your control, let them go. And use some of those other tactics of communication, attitude, really identifying that fear to navigate the things that are uncertain. But there are a lot of things that are in your control. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're controlling that narrative, that you feel empowered and you feel like you have what you need to conquer the day or conquer the obstacle or the task, or really just do the things that you need to do to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, because it's you that's going to be responsible for taking care of yourself and others, right? A lot of times. So controlling the controllable is really what I wanted to talk to you guys the most about today, because the most important thing that you can do in controlling yourself, make sure that you have optimal health. And, one of the things that I think a lot of people default to when they think about health is they're like, oh, I need to lose weight. Weight loss is a huge component of being healthy, right? Or being at an optimum weight is a huge part of being healthy. But there are so many other things that can contribute to that. And that's what I want to spend a little bit of time talking to you about today. So if you think about tactics for having optimal health, and that optimal health being the ultimate controllable, because optimal health is what's going to really take care of and protect you, there's a lot of different things and a lot of factors that can contribute to that. The first one that I wanted to talk to you about is stress. I don't know about you guys, but how many of you have a lot of stress in your life right now? A lot of stress? Yep. So it's normal, but we have to do things that are going to help us manage that stress. It's potentially giving yourself permission to take breaks, doing things that you like to do. And it's so easy to go, oh, I don't have time for that. But you have to find time. Even if it's 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, whatever you can squeeze in, you want to make sure that you are keeping a healthy mind, right? Because that is really where the power source of your body comes from. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but 30% of the energy that your body has is needed to power your brain, 30%. So we want to make sure we're taking care of our brain and that we are doing other things that are going to fuel a healthy mind, because that's going to be the center point for that optimal health. You also want to make sure, like I mentioned, having a healthy weight. And that doesn't mean be the skinniest kid on the block, right? That means being healthy. If you think about the majority of the illnesses that are out there today, our, heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, all of those different things can be minimized or even eliminated if you're able to maintain a healthy weight. And so also, think about in the world of coronavirus, and I know we've had and heard so much about that, right? But a lot of the worst complications with coronavirus come from people that have some of those specific issues. So controlling your weight is a big deal for your overall optimal health. And there's so many things that you can do. One of the large components of that is going to be healthy eating. And I know that's not the most fun topic, but it's one of the most critical. If you think about it, when you eat, the food that you consume should be used for fuel, not for comfort, right? And it's so easy to let food be a comfort. It's so easy to let food be a main source of your social environment, right? Which also leads to your healthy mind, right? But what we have to do is we have to make sure that the food that we're putting in our body is nutritious and it's full of those good nutrients that are going to fuel your body. You want to be the Ferrari of a human body, right? And you want to put the most premium gas or fuel into it that you can as possible, because if you put that regular fuel, the fast food, the processed foods that are really unhealthy, full of sugars and processed items, it's going to slow you down and it's going to make you a lot more sluggish. And when you have nutrient deficits, it is going to impact your ability to think, to focus, to really be able to do even little things like get good quality sleep at night and things like that. So think about those nutritious foods and really the majority of the day fueling yourself with those good things that are going to keep you going from point A to point B every single day. The next thing is healthy hydration. We don't often think about hydration being a part of, our mental capacity or that ability to function throughout the day. But a lot of times, if we think about just society as a whole, people fill their day with a lot of coffee and soda and things like that. And again, we're putting in a lot of nutrient reduced foods and items into our body that's not fueling the tank. It's also creating more dehydration. And with dehydration, you can actually end up with brain fog. You can have hunger. Nobody wants to be hungry, especially when you're trying to watch your weight, right? So it's going to help with that satiety. It's going to help you really get through the day. And it actually is going to give you a lot more energy. You're going to have great skin. You're going to also be able to digest foods more easily. So a lot of digestive issues can be fixed with healthy hydration. So aim for that 64 ounces of water a day, and then work your way up to half your body weight. That's ideal. And it always doesn't have to be just water, but water is going to be the best. All right, let's see here. We also have healthy motion. So I know a lot of us, we work full time, we're busy, and everybody thinks healthy motion means I have to be in the gym. I have to be there 3 hours a day to get the results that I need. While doing some of those more significant types of exercise are always going to bring you great cardiovascular benefits. It's going to help you with managing that weight. One of the things to remember is that healthy motion is just moving your body. So you want to make sure that, if you're working at a desk, you're setting reminders to get up and move. You're walking, you're breathing, getting air in your lungs. It's going to keep your mind fresh. It's going to keep your muscles strong. And it's going to also help break up that day. And it's going to help with some of the mental part of it too, the healthy mind part, just by moving. And then work your way up. It might be short walks, around your neighborhood. It might be having a dance party with your kids, whatever it is, and whatever's fun for you, just make sure that you are moving your body. That's going to give you the energy that you need to complement all the great healthy ways you're eating, your hydration, and then other things that you're doing to minimize stress. The next one that I have on here is healthy sleep. Sleep is really important. And I know that's one thing where when we're trying to create more hours in the day, we start to cut back on our sleep. But sleep is when we recharge. It's when all of our batteries refill each night. Adults need 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night when at all possible. And you want to make sure that you're doing things before bed, like watching your caffeine intake, you're watching your screens, because those are things that are going to not only keep you up, they're also going to disrupt those really great restful sleep patterns that you're going to have. So make sure that you start having, little rituals each day, whether it's rituals of hydration, rituals of sleep, rituals of motion. And believe it or not, those little rituals also help control the controllables. Those rituals help you navigate that change because those are things that are inside of your parameters and you are in 100% control of. So make sure that sleep is a critical and crucial part of your optimal health. And the last one that I have for you guys is healthy surroundings. And right now, our surroundings have changed and they're different, and it's a unique world that we're in right now. But one of the things to think about with your surroundings is think about the people you surround yourself with. Are they bringing in positivity and joy into your life, or are they sucking those batteries dry, right? So think about the people. Also think about the wheres. There are going to be places where you can socialize that are going to really foster and create that optimal health. Is it, meeting someone to go for a walk around the lake, or is it meeting at, a place and having burgers and fries and all the things, right? What's going to create that surrounding that's going to encourage you and give you that optimal environment for success in your health and well-being? So those are kind of just the tip of the iceberg, right, when it comes to those tactics for optimal health. And so I know I gave you a lot of information, but I wanted to give you that blueprint so that you can take it and run with it, right? And the other thing is you don't have to change it all at one time, right? If that's overwhelming, it was a lot of information, focus on one thing, right? So one thing that can start make better and more optimal health and healthy for you and yourself. So those are some of the nuggets that I have for you today. So I wanted to open it up to see if there's any questions that I can help you guys with.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for this. It's kind of a checklist of things that we should be reminding ourselves every day to empower ourselves, empower our bodies and our minds to invest in ourselves. And when you were speaking about it, I was going through the checklist, which will be great if you summarize it just a little bit, each
Yep.
one of them one more time for us. But particularly, if since you said at the end, this is intriguing to me, that we should not potentially, if you don't want to start, it's too much, this is
Right.
overwhelming. What will be the one of that list that you recommend we focus first? Like if we were to take one step at a time, that's what I was
Right.
curious to hear from you. Do you have any particular recommendation from that list that we should focus ourselves on first?
Sure. I do think that it's a personal choice, right? Because I think we all know, um, more than likely there's an area that we internalize and we know that's, I really am terrible at that. I should maybe try this first. Or maybe it's like, I'm terrible at that. Maybe I try something smaller first, right? So some of that is going to be a personal choice of what you feel like your opportunities are. But I do think that having that healthy mind, right? Being able to breathe and think, create a plan for yourself, create a plan for your day, taking that time to let that stress go. I think that's a really great place to start, because until you're able to kind of clear some of the clutter out, it's going to be hard to focus on a lot of those other layers. And as I've been on my own health and personal journey, one of the things that I was finding is that I was giving all of myself to my job, but I was killing myself at the gym every day, and I was eating healthy, what I thought was healthy, and I was doing all the things, but my stress level was a level 10 plus. And so I had to adjust some of my thinking to figure out how to take my day back a little bit, and reprioritize. And since doing that, I have found time to bring in some of those other things. And, this year I've lost about 50 pounds working and just making sure I'm balancing a little bit more of my day-to-day life.
Well, thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much. We have a question here from the live studio, Sheila.
Hi,
Yes,
Sheila.
hi, Melissa. That was great. My question is, you talked about the 64, did you say 64 ounces of water?
Yes.
So, because that's one big one for me. So,
Okay.
how do you like have a certain time frame? Like if you start at 8, you want to be done by 8? Like, what do you suggest to get that practice in place?
I suggest be done early enough so you're not up using the restroom all night, because that's going to interrupt your sleep. So for
Yeah,
me, I try to be done with most of my water by, most of it by about 6 p.m. I'm still sipping on a little bit after that, but I do try to get it done right about kind of dinner time, more or less. And one of the great that I try to do is I found a 64-ounce glass pitcher. And when you put the water in there and you look at it, it doesn't even look like as much as you really think it is. And, sometimes I'll throw in like lemon or lime slices or, things like that to give it some flavor. And I know that, as the day goes on, I know that if I work through that pitcher, I've hit my 64 ounces, and anything after that is a bonus. So, I'll go,
right,
okay, I'll do one big chunk in the morning. I try to make sure I always refill and get about half of it about lunchtime. And then usually I'm done by the afternoon. And honestly, while you're drinking more, you're going to want more. So it gets easier, I promise. And you're not going to lie, you're going to be running to the ladies' room or men's room, a little bit in the beginning as you're adjusting your water intake, but it does get better.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, guys. We have another question from the studio, Lori Kay.
Hi.
Hi. When you were talking about the water, is there a point that you can have too much water? I mean,
Yes.
what is too much water?
Some of that's going to vary, right? It's going to vary on, how hot is it outside, right? How much are you sweating, the dry air, how much are you exercising and sweating and things like that. But usually anything, about half your body weight is kind of that goal of where you want to shoot for on a normal day. Anything much over that is going to start to be a little bit too much. But again, that's going to vary. So I would say half your body weight. But if you've done an hour or two of activity outside where you're sweating a lot, you're going to need about another 8 ounces of water or so for every hour of intense exercise where you've been sweating to replenish. So some of that will vary, but I would say targeting around that half your body weight is going to be a good place to aim for.
It seems like half my body weight is a lot of water.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Me too.
It's, 110 ounces. And I do good to get my 64. I usually do a little more than 64, closer to 80, but it feels like that's too much, to do that much. I mean, for us bigger, curvy girls,
It's a lot. It's a daunting task. I totally get that. And that's why I say start with the 64 and then work your way up. Because I'll be honest, now that I've been doing it for a while, I will get to some days about 120 ounces of water, and I have to stop myself. And it's just because I'm used to drinking and it's become habitual at that point. Yeah. So don't get stressed about the number, right? Do where you feel good, right? Another element too is if you're thinking, all right, I can't do more than 80 ounces of water, but I know optimally I may need a little bit more. Just make sure you're filling your diet with water-rich fruits and vegetables, right? So foods that have a lot of water in them, they're going to help with that hydration factor as well. So if you target your 64 to 80 ounces and you know that you're filling your meals with those really great raw fruits and vegetables, those are also going to provide additional water and hydration for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you both. We have another question from studio. Karina.
Hi, how are you?
Hi there.
My question is about exercise. And I am not a big, I really just don't go to a gym. But I enjoy other types of exercise like bike riding or like physical actual bike riding or hiking or things like that. But I've noticed that I've put on probably, I was maybe 30 pounds less for most of my life. In the last, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years, I've gained like 30 pounds. And I know I'm less active. But I wanted to ask, and I'm interested in losing that 30 pounds. And I have spurts of activity, but I wanted to ask, I've heard certain things, like there's a certain amount of getting your heart rate up, or, say I were to take a bike ride, would it optimally be like an hour long bike ride where I'm working, or what would you say as far as that?
I think it's going to vary. A couple things that, you can do is you can wear a heart rate monitor to watch kind of the zones that you're working out in, because that's going to help you optimize your fat burn areas. But one of the things that, I try to remember, and it was really important for me because, I was working out very hard 5 days a week and habitually gaining and losing the same 10 pounds. One thing to remember is you can't outrun the scale, and you can't outrun your diet, right? And so what that means is that you can work out and kill yourself in the gym, but if you're consuming nutrient reduced foods and you're taking in a lot of calories, no matter how much you work out, you're never going to get that additional fat that you want off of your body off. So I think it's a matter of being realistic about when I'm doing these activities, how much am I burning? And then how much am I putting back into my body? Because you're going to get into this loop of workout frenzy. And while exercising has so many great health benefits, you just have to be really careful when you're looking at losing weight and exercising, that you're not fooling yourself to thinking that you're doing more than you are. And that's what I was doing. I was killing myself in the gym, but I was putting it all back in through the foods that I was eating. Even if they were healthy foods, they still add up, right? So that would be my first thing, is really just looking at your intensity levels. How many calories are you really burning? And then what's your daily caloric intake? So MyFitnessPal, things like that, tracking what you're eating, I think that'll help give you some perspective as well.
Okay, thank you. And sorry, I don't have video on. I'm driving at the moment, but I appreciate
No worries.
Your answer.
Sure thing.
Well, I don't. You have something, Lori Kay?
I do.
Absolutely.
These great questions. It makes me have more questions.
Absolutely, go for it.
I understand, for cardio, where is the sweet spot, and how do you figure out what your sweet spot is for your heart rate?
So if you go online, you can put in you can find all kinds of great calculators for finding your max heart rates and things like that. And it'll tell you kind of where you are. Anything about 70% of your max heart rate or above, right? 70% is going to get you in about that fat burn zone. You get a little bit higher into that, 83, 84%. It's going to be a little bit more of the cardiovascular impact, but the longer you spend in those zones will help you burn calories longer. So there's some really cool science behind heart zone training, and there's a lot of information online, and I'm happy to talk to anybody that has more questions about it. But like I said, I would go in and you calculate it based on your age, and it'll help you figure out where your right zones are. There's also, if you have Apple Watches or apps on your phone, things like that, you can download apps that will actually calculate it and track it for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't see any more questions in the live room and Zoom. I've been checking on Facebook. I believe we are live on Facebook. It says we are on it. I have not been able to check the questions on live Facebook. So I apologize to the people that have joined us from Facebook, but I don't see the chat right now. I hope we're able to answer some of the questions you have right now. And if not, you can reach out directly to Melissa. Melissa, would you like to share with us how we can get in contact with you, people that are looking forward to maybe work with you as a coach, have some tips? Can you share your information with us?
Absolutely. So you can find me at Donelson, DONELSON.optavia.com, or you can email me at Missy, MISSI, .Donelson@gmail.com.
Great.
Can you add that to the chat?
Yes.
Great. Oh, Karina, you're saying that if I were to open Facebook on my phone, I will be able to see the chat? Okay. Well, I think that since we are already hitting the 9:30, now I know for next time that I'm hosting, I have it here on my screen and I don't see it, but so we'll figure it out for next time. There you go. That's your water, Lord Kay. So for me, the thoughts are amazing. Health is something important, but the way that you explained it to us, Melissa, was great because it's not just your body, it's also your mind. For me, I'm focused on sleeping. And if you don't want to exercise and if you want to do anything, actually you will lose weight and you will feel better by sleeping. So that's my recommendation to you.
You can't
guys.
eat when you're sleeping, right?
Exactly. Okay, so if there's no any more questions here on the live Zoom group, Melissa, what are your last words for us before we leave?
All right, fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to read. This is from the Dalai Lama, and he was asked what surprised him the most about humanity. And he said, man, because he sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he's so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result is being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, and then he dies having never really lived. And so I started talking about hope, and now I want to end with really thinking about the present and the future that you want to create for yourself. And hopefully you're going to do that with optimal health. And I would love to help you any way that I can. I did put in chat all my contact information. And the challenge, kind of my parting word for you is, and I think I said it a little bit earlier, is what's one thing, even small, that you can change today to make a difference for today and tomorrow. And if you think that that task is too big to take on yourself, please reach out. When you talk to me, I do not charge you money. I love talking to people and helping you with these types of things. So reach out. We can have virtual coffee, whatever it is, but I'd love to chat with you more.
Well, this was fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone here in the live Zoom. Thank you everyone on Facebook. And as we say, this is the present, the time is now, the hour is now. So I hope you have an amazing day and I will see you all tomorrow. 2 things before we leave. Don't forget about if you want to participate in Access the Leader Within, that's the link that Sorel and Giovanni shared with us yesterday. So that's for the 3-day experience that we are offering. And then just remember, they're going to be offering more free webinars. They're going to have more next week. They're going to tell us more about it, but those are the 2 departing words from me. And thank you so much, Melissa. This was fantastic. Thank you, everyone in the studio, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody.
Hi.
Great job, both of you guys.
Okay, bye, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much. I really
Thank you, Andrea.
Okay.
Have a great day.
You too, guys. Bye.